Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Sue Cornbluth. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Dr. Sue and You. The world is in an upheaval. If Corona was not enough, the death of George Floyd has taken us to a different level. And it is important that we have understandings of what this means to ourselves, to our children, and to our country. We are currently living in chaos and disregard for human life. It's time to begin to have serious conversations with our children about race and privilege so we can begin the healing process. And today I have somebody on with me that is going to help us navigate through this very difficult time in our lives. And I'd like to welcome back to the show Carol Muleta. She is a certified parenting expert and consultant and the owner of the Parenting 411. Carol, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Sue.
Carol, I wish I could have you in here under better circumstances. But Carol,
I agree with you.
What is going on with the world right now, it's a tragedy. How can we get through this right now? What are you seeing? What are you hearing from parents who are going through this? And do you think that it is important that as parents we begin this conversation with our children, if we haven't already?
I do indeed agree that we really have to start young, speaking with our children, because when they're young, they obviously see differences, but they kind of learn later by our own biases and form opinions about people that they wouldn't ordinarily have. And then sometimes parents avoid talking about those differences, so they begin to grow into seeing them as inherently something wrong if people are different from themselves. And then at the other extreme, some parents avoid talking about it at all because they want to have this I don't see color philosophy. And that's not healthy as well, because what you want to do is see differences, see color, and embrace them. Recognize that everyone has inherent value and they have something to contribute to the world.
Why aren't we talking about this more? There have been other instances just like this over the years. One that comes to my mind is Rodney King. And it seems that this continues to go on and on and on. How do we prepare ourselves for the possibility that this could happen again?
Well, one way is to really have these discussions, particularly with the next generation, the up and coming generation, because they are our future leaders. So let's start talking about this. Let's get to the heart of what the concerns are, why there's this fear of embracing people who are different. Like those of us who are adults, let's really be honest about what it is. Because I feel like there must be some underlying fear,
Right,
or something that just stops us from considering that there are other ways of living, there are other people that are having very, very different experiences in this country from what we are. And it's time to recognize that. And with the emergence of smartphones, with cameras and all of that, we're really seeing all of these incidents in real time, and they cannot be ignored. I mean, this country has to recognize the pain that arises from the inequities in so many areas of society, whether it's living conditions, education, employment opportunities. We have to come to grips with that and try to bring about some healing so that we can move forward.
absolutely. And what happened with George Floyd was recorded, and so we know, but that is happening around the country every single day, and we're not filming it, and we're not seeing it, but it is happening. Isn't that true?
It is very much true. It is happening all over the country, and maybe in the local news or maybe in the neighborhoods, people just hear about it. But it's time to really speak out to local officials, make sure that you vote in every election. I don't care what it is, PTA, school board, everything, because all of these institutions in the community affect daily life, and we have to put our concerns on their radar. They have to recognize that this is a problem. This is not the way we want to live. Not only, the groups, the Black and brown citizens that are most at risk for a lot of this treatment, but there are many people, as we see from the diverse makeup of the protests,
yes,
that there are lots of people that are concerned about this. There are many people, many groups who don't want to live like this anymore. The hate has to stop. The ignorance has to stop. We have to get to know each other, respect the concerns, and respect the aspirations of all groups, of everyone in this country.
Could not agree with you more. I mean, it enrages me that there are looting going on and all of these other kinds of behaviors that people are questioning. I'm all for protesting. I think that's an amazing gift that we can do in life, to peacefully protest. My concern is, and I want your opinion on this, is what is the looting and the riots teaching our children? And what is your opinion about that? And do you believe in solving violence with violence?
Oh, that's a lot there to unpack.
I know.
I will start.
Yeah.
I will start with the last question. Absolutely, violence should not be met with violence.
Right.
I do not believe that is healthy or productive at all. And as far as the looting, certainly I can't agree with destroying property or stealing property, taking property that does not belong to you because you are angry.
Right.
What is different here is that what we're finding is that the organizers of these protests are not endorsing that. That is not what they want. There's some people that are infiltrating that are doing a lot of this looting and damage. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't some protesters that they are just so enraged, they feel so hopeless and helpless that they're just lashing out. I'm sure that that's happening.
Yes.
But we also are finding evidence, again, captured through smartphones and also closed circuit TV that is in the different neighborhoods, the cameras that are posted in different neighborhoods just on an ongoing basis. We are capturing people who are not really part of the movement, don't have the same objectives, that are doing a lot of the damage. But absolutely, looting and damaging property is really takes away from the cause that they are protesting for, and that is equality and justice.
And that is what the protesting is very much about. It is about the equality. It's about doing something to change these situations so they don't keep happening. But on the other hand, I mean, you could play devil's advocate too here. That the looting and the riots are a lot about, well, you don't have regard for human life. Why should we have regard for anything else that goes on in this world? So I can see both sides is what I'm saying to you. And it doesn't matter which side I agree with. I can see both sides.
Yes, I can too. I mean, because that's, as I was saying, that I'm sure there are people in the crowd that did come out to protest for justice, not just for George Floyd, but for others, and just equality for all of us, equal treatment under the law. They come out with that intention, and then something just can happen when
Right.
you're out there in the crowd, you're amongst a lot of people, and just tempers flare. And yes, they may have that attitude like, look, why should I care about this property when you don't care about the lives of my brothers and sisters? Yet, I don't think that is a productive way to move forward. I think that there has to be a message, and there's strength in numbers. That's why it is very valuable and very effective for people to go out and march and chant and show their faces, show their presence in large numbers, so that the lawmakers and officials around the country realize that this is a serious issue. You need to listen to us.
Because
we are your constituent.
Right, because the looting is taking away from the message.
I can certainly agree with that.
Yes, I think that is something that has been going on. Look, people's emotions from COVID to this are just so up in the air now. People are struggling mentally, physically. It's a time of high and heightened anxiety. I don't know what else I could say about that right now. And parents have questions about what is going on. One of the questions that I believe they have is, should I be allowing my children to go to these protests? Should I bring my children with me? I heard about that today on Good Morning America. So I would like to address that with you now. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I think certainly you have to consider the age.
Okay.
And you have to, if you're going to go as a family and you're taking smaller children, then I think you do need to be careful about where you're going, because some areas of the protest will be safer than others. And so you don't want your children on the front line, but certainly going to the event can certainly demonstrate that my family values equal justice for all and justice for George Floyd in this case. And it really conveys a very special message to our children that they are likely to carry with them. Like, this is what you do. You make your voice heard, and for them to be in the midst of people who are standing firm, who aren't trying to fight or loot or damage property, but they're making their presence known, they're making their voices heard, it can be very powerful. So I certainly think, again, consider the children's ages, and also plan where you're going to be. Like, I think they should go to a certain place and stay there. Like, maybe you're not going to move with the crowd, like if some of them are marching to a certain place. I mean, you've got to be aware of your surroundings, so that if something unforeseen happens and you need to leave the area, that you're able to do that. I mean, definitely be aware of your surroundings and be aware of an exit plan if you've got to make it.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it could be very powerful for children, teenagers to see this in terms of the peaceful protests. I actually saw some clips on television where people were kneeling down in parks with their children. They were not following the crowd, but they were showing support in peaceful ways, and I don't have any problem with that. These are issues that are affecting all of us in this country and this world every single day. And I believe in one thing, fully, being honest with our children. On that note, we will be back after the commercials with the parenting expert 411.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
I want to be a contender. I want a warm belly to sleep on.
A big house.
How do I look? Do I look good?
I want to play hard.
My nails done once a month.
I want
I want a home. I just want a home. I want someone to love.
Last year, more than 30,000 companion animals came to us without homes. 20,000 of them were felines. Let's make some homes together.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Dr. Sue and You Show. We are talking today about George Floyd and about the world being in chaos and how we can heal from that, and how you as parents can talk to your children about racism and prejudice. And joining me again today is Carol Muleta. She is a certified parent educator and consultant, and she is also known as the Parenting 411. Carol, welcome back to the show. You've already given a lot of great information. You also are somebody that speaks around the country, and you are working on 2 new books, so that is very exciting. Let's get back now to our conversation, and I'd like to focus this segment more about how parents can help their children understand racism in this country, and what parents can actually do to enforce compassion within their children, starting at a young age, for different people from different cultures.
Yes. Well, I think it's important to cultivate a curiosity about others that don't look like you. So it's in the books that the family reads. It's in the arts experiences that the family takes in, going to different museums, watching different movies, and making friendships with people that don't look like them. That's the way you can be comfortable with other people, different perspectives, and it's not threatening to you. It's not threatening to them. It's just that's the way they see things, and this is the way we see things, and we can all get along together. Both of us have value. The important thing that I think parents should not do is to dismiss race as an issue and kind of go toward the I don't see color approach, because the people of color will be saying, well, wow, you don't see, you want to overlook an essential essence of myself. My color is part of me.
Yes.
So that's it sounds beautiful to say I don't see color. I think what they're really trying to say, especially the people that I know who are very kind people, what they're really saying is, I see color and I recognize its value. That's what a lot of people do have at the core. That is what they're trying to say, but to say I don't see color is really sort of dismissive of a very important element of our existence as people of color.
So what you're saying is if you teach your children from a very young age to have compassion for all kinds of people, no matter what they look like, that will carry throughout their lives. Is that correct?
That is what I believe. And along with that, though, you want to raise children who are in their own right, confident, capable, and of course, compassionate. But those first two are important because they need to have a sense that they have value, that they matter. And also, the capable piece means that they are equipped to meet life's challenges. They are not apt to blame other people for their shortcomings. They're able to figure out how they may do something different if there's a goal that they're trying to achieve, and they will go after it that way because they are confident in themselves. They know that they are capable. And then when you have someone that's on a solid foundation like that, they're more apt to use the gifts, use the talents that they have to make someone else's life better. That's where the compassion comes in. And then where race is concerned, I think there needs to be another C, and that's curiosity, a genuine interest in learning about other people, and recognizing that your worldview, your experience is not the measuring stick by which all others will be evaluated. Recognize that your view is one view, your position is one position, and that there are other people that may look different and live differently that have another view.
It's great advice. You know, another thing that I was thinking about today as I was driving in was how talking to your children and telling the truth to them about what is happening is so essential. And when you're telling the truth about what has happened to George Floyd, you use his name and you talk about what happened and why these protests are going on and why the riots are happening. Children are so smart, and you want them to have the real truth about what is going on so they're not making it up in their head or they're listening to a friend. Is there a specific kind of dialogue that a parent should be having with their child about what has just happened with George Floyd?
Yes. First of all, you want to find out what they already know.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're talking about young children, because you want to build from there. And you want to talk to them and give them the information about the situation in an age-appropriate way, because you don't want them to be scared every minute. But it is important to let them know that some people in our country are hurt, are being hurt, they're being harmed, they're being killed. And a lot of it has to do with the color of their skin. And so you talk to them in an age-appropriate way to let them know about what is happening, and that the people that we're seeing on TV that are marching together, they're chanting together, they want to make their voices heard. Yes. They want the leaders of our country to know that this is not okay. It is not okay to treat other people this way. It's not okay to treat anybody in our country this way. So start there and let them know that protest can be a healthy way to get your point across in a peaceful way. Right. And you can use examples for them about fairness and about maybe times in your home when they are asking about the fairness of maybe your rules, or maybe there's something that they want to do. And you let them know that that's very similar. The way that they're advocating to us as parents, asking for certain privileges or asking about the way things are in our home, that is very much a skill that can help them in speaking up for themselves out in the real world.
I think you hit on a couple really important points there. One of them being conflict. We all have conflict within our lives with it, different times of our lives. And it is so important when you are in a conflict with somebody that you speak up and that you use your voice, as you said, to get your message across, instead of inflicting more pain on others. And I think that is a critical point to teach your children. Teaching them to use their voice, not use violence.
Yes. And I think when they are comfortable with that through practice at home, being heard, I mean, they may ask for a rule to be changed in the house,
Yes.
or, maybe you have a policy about dating or makeup for girls or something like that. And they lobby, they want to know why these rules can't be loosened up, and you explain your values. And so they may not in the end get what they want,
Right.
but they were heard. And
Yes.
you want to help them to recognize that they have a right to be heard, and that you don't have to wait until you are angry to speak up for yourself. You want them to be comfortable speaking up for themselves at different levels. You don't have to be fed up. You don't have to get frustrated and so feel so helpless that you have to lash out. You just can speak up for yourself in constructive ways, and you don't have to be angry to speak up for yourself. And it doesn't mean that you don't like the other person, but you're looking out for yourself. You're respecting yourself, and you want respect from the other person or people that you're engaging with.
Right, and this goes back to what I talk about on a lot of my shows and my radio shows, that as parents, we are our children's best role models, and we have to set the example for them at an early age about how to behave and act and feel and all the things that make up our lives every single day. They are sponges that soak everything up. But the most important thing to do with your children during times like this is be honest and open. And if they have questions, answer them as honestly as possible. And if you don't know the answer, say, I don't know. That's fine too. That's part of being a parent. And that's how kids go off and learn things on their own too. They can look some things up, but it's much better to come from somebody that they trust. So Carol, tell me, where do you think all of this is heading?
Well, in the near term, I think that it will mobilize a lot of people to vote. And I mean at every level. Certainly we will have the upcoming presidential election,
Yes.
but I think they will begin to understand more about how this system works, and that every election is important. You have some people in our country that only vote in the presidential election.
That's right.
They forget all about the other institutions, the other systems that touch their lives every day locally. Again, I mentioned earlier the school board, the PTA at their children's school, the county board, if you live, in a state where they're counties. I guess they're all counties, but you vote in your county election, and so all of that matters.
Do you think change is coming, Carol?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Do you think change is coming?
I think it is, because when I look at the crowd of people and the makeup of the crowd of people that are coming out for this, I think there is a new awareness among some people about what's going on in this country. There's some people that knew about it and didn't care and may still not care. And
Right.
They're not out there.
Right.
But there's some people that are like, wow, I did not realize it was this pervasive. Like this is real, has really got to stop. I know that on my radio show, a white man called in because we were talking about, there was another incident or another instance where an unarmed Black man was killed.
Right.
And we were discussing the talk that African American parents have to have about how you handle encounters with the police and all of that.
Yes.
And he called in and he said, I have children that are 30 years old and up. And I never talked to them about this. I've never had to talk to my child about this, and I didn't know you had to.
So it's now time to start these talks, and it's also time to come together as a community and as a country. And I agree with you, Carol. What I have seen on television is all kinds of people coming together for a cause that affects all of us, and that, to me, is major progress. All right, Carol, thank you so much for being on the show today. Can you tell everyone how they can get in touch with you?
Well, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Parenting 411. And if you'd like to hear more about what I'm doing to help parents guide their children to be the leaders of tomorrow, please visit www.parentingwithvision.com/embrace diversity.
Thanks, Carol, again for being on this very informative show. We are in a time of upheaval. There is no doubt about it. But I see good in this. I see good in many things that are negative, because what comes out of negative things lots of times is positivity. And together I see, as communities and as members of this wonderful country that we live in, that we are finally making strides to come together to fight for what is right. Life is cyclical, everyone. We will emerge from this, but let's emerge better than before. Thanks, everybody. This is Dr. Sue Cornbluth. Stay safe.